Thank you, Honorable Minister, and good evening to everybody. Yes, Honorable Minister, from our point, the directive given by His Excellency the President kicked in at 1 p.m. yesterday. What we have done so far is advise all our controls to enforce the ban strictly. That all persons traveling from countries that have recorded 200 cases and over are to be refused entry, and that is what we are doing. We are only admitting foreigners coming back or returning who have resident permits. And even that, their details are being taken and being shared with the Ghana Health Service response team. So far, as of yesterday, on the 16th March, we refused 2 Italians entry who were traveling in on Air France. In fact, we did not allow them to disembark because we normally have the travel advice from the airlines. We screen it, see who is on board before they come. So the 2 Italians were noted on the Air France flight, and the team went in, the joint team of the Ghana Immigration Service, Port Health authorities went on board and explained the situation to them, and they were refused and they were not allowed to come back. They returned with the flight. Yesterday, 17th of March, 24 Chinese were refused entry, and also 1 German, also under the same circumstances, with a kick-in of travel ban at 1 p.m. This morning, there is an incident in Abidjan. The airport is closed due to an incident in the tarmac. So flights were being diverted to Ghana. In consultation with the civil aviation, all those flights were refused landing and sent back. 1 Ethiopian airline flight that landed without permission. The passengers were not allowed to disembark. They were refueled and they continued on their journey. The statistics that we have indicate that there has been a drastic drop in passenger inflow, especially on the major airlines. So for yesterday, for instance, British Airways, which would normally be about 350 passengers, brought in 140. KLM would normally bring in about 450 daily, brought in 128. Air Portugal, which would normally bring in about 150, brought in 12. Kenya Airways, which would normally bring in about 120, brought in 66. Emirates Airlines, which would normally bring in 380, brought in 174. Today, as at this morning, the figures from especially Kenya Airways and Emirates, which come quite early, and South Africa Airlines, more reduced numbers. Kenya Airways, for example, brought in only 26 passengers. Emirates brought in 93. South Africa Airlines from Washington, which would normally come with about 300 passengers, brought in 36, and most of these are Ghanaians. Ethiopia Airlines brought in 128 as against 250, which is the average. The restriction in the travel ban is not only being for the airline, also at our land borders. We operate 45 land borders. The major will be in Aflao, Elubu, and Paga, and then other minor posts. The ban is also being strictly enforced there. Yesterday, Aflao refused entry to a Nigerian who was traveling in the country from Nigeria. But our checks, the checks we do as your travel movement prior to your appearance at the border, the 14 days, it was shown that he had traveled from Korea 4 days early to Nigeria and was coming in. So we applied. Even though he was coming from Nigeria, we knew that he had come from Korea, which is in excess of the 200. Today, 3 foreigners have been refused entry at the Aflao airport. 1 German, yes, Aflao border post. 1 German, 2 Australians. Lome operates a virtually visa-free visa regime with many countries. So a lot of nationals can come through there. So that is why Aflao and the other entry points, Akanu, etc., are tight on controls. So the German and 2 Australians, who also fall within the 200 cases recorded in their countries, were also refused entry. Today there was an incident on South Africa. We don't know the status yet. A Ghanaian female who complained of dizziness on arrival was referred to the health authorities. We could not be sure of what it was, so we had to take that action. The 2 passengers who sat with her were also referred to the health authorities and isolated and are still going observation. Travel Minister, ladies and gentlemen, the travel ban as at yesterday is in force 1 p.m. and we are enforcing it very strictly. Thank you, Honorable Minister.